Post-traumatic stress disorder is a combination of psychological, behavioral, and physical symptoms that result from an out-of-the-ordinary life experience in which one is at risk and during which a person feels helpless and hopeless and unable to help themselves.
I think the biggest misconception with PTSD is society thinks that, oh, that person has PTSD, so they're crazy.
A lot of the misconception you'll see is people, they say, oh, he's got that Rambo syndrome, you know, or the very first Rambo, he goes in and takes on this whole town. That's all garbage.
That's not the case at all. We're just normal, just like anybody else. Do we go through, we just happen to suffer, I don't want to even say suffer, but we just happen to have gone through a traumatic experience that we have to figure out a way that each person, you know, we can deal with it.
People often withdraw into themselves. They stop going out socially. They stop interacting with other people. And often to treat their insomnia and to treat their symptoms, they turn to drugs or alcohol. And we see a lot of people with severe PTSD who develop alcohol abuse or drug abuse.
You look at one veteran, you know, that suffers from PTSD. Does he have a wife? You know, does he have 2 kids? You know, does he have a mother and a father, and they have grandparents? So you're looking at how many people that really affect, and then you go into brothers and sisters. So when you say one equals, you know, one person with PTSD equals one person with PTSD, it's not really 1 versus 1. It's 1 versus 10 or 30. And then, you know, there's no manual that says, even though they give you the training, hey, how do you come back and you know, deal with this? You just want to get home.
People will avoid thinking or talking or even recalling the event if they can. People will change in terms of their interaction with others, so they'll begin to isolate, detach, and withdraw from other people.
Just get away from me, just let me get home. I want to get home to my family and kids. But then you get there and you don't know how to deal with all the things you don't recognize. You're like, what is going on with me? Why am I sitting in this dark room? Why can I not stop freaking out about, you know, small stuff? You know, loud noises scare me. I don't want to be in big crowds. All this stuff. They tell you that, but you don't hear it.
The biggest thing is if somebody that has PTSD, go get help. I, for many, many years, said I don't have PTSD. I don't have it. But I was always angry. My memory was short. I was this and that. I was just mad all the time. I hated the world.
You know, just removing yourself from people in general. You know, my mom couldn't figure out. She's like, you know, how come he doesn't talk to me? I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to be bothered with anybody. I changed my phone number as soon as I got home. I wanted to step back. You know, all I wanted to do really was drink beer and play with my dog and you know, sleep most of the day and then get up and then go to the grocery store late at night.
And it took a Vietnam veteran to say, you know, I noticed you kind of short fused there, kiddo. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, I'm fine. I don't have PTSD. It's not me. You know, I don't suffer from that. He's like, were you in combat? Well, yeah. He's like, yeah, you have it.
And eventually I started noticing, okay, if I can help out other people, you know, I feel better. I don't have to drink as much.
That was a starting step for me. And it's maybe getting a little too personal, but I went and I started talking about it. And once I started talking about it and opening up more about it, it was easier for me to deal with it. And it's a lot easier for me now, today.
Essentially, me helping them helped me in realizing, okay, this is what I need to do to stay busy. And then the whole radio aspect really hit me. I'm like, wow.
James and myself, my friend James and I started doing a podcast just kind of for fun. And after doing that for several months, people were asking us, hey, what do we need to do to be a part of that? And I saw a business opportunity, so that's kind of how VetsOn Media was born.
Growing up in the military as a military brat and constantly moving from place to place, when I turned 18, someone asked me if I was going to follow in my stepfather's footsteps and go in the military. And I kind of indignantly said, you know, I've already served my country. I've already done my time. You know, I moved around from place to place. I realize now how foolish that was, because the first time that I came to VetsOn and I was watching one of the shows, they were talking about their experiences in the military, and tears are streaming down my face, and I realized I haven't done jack.
We want to make sure that people know there's a misconception nowadays that the civilian population thinks that when people come out of the military that they're just taken care of. They got money coming in from the so far from the truth. You know, there's a lot of things that are going on with the VA healthcare system right now where veterans are struggling.
Just in Maricopa County, there's over 300,000 veterans in Maricopa County. And statewide, there's over 600,000. So, we want to bridge that gap between the civilian and the military and the veterans, so they can come, even if they don't, they never serve in the military, they'll still understand what we're talking about and enjoy, what we're putting out there.
When the company first started, it started off with one podcast, VetsOn with Adam and James. And that was almost 2 years ago. April 21st, this month, we celebrate our 2-year anniversary. And it's exciting because I look back 2 years ago, we had one show, and now we've had 14 shows on the network at one time.
VetsOn Media helps, plays an active part in helping veterans with PTSD by informing them, entertaining them, connecting them. I mean, we have a couple of shows that, and we're adding more right now. We have one show that helps with, your PTSD management, bringing you through. We've partnered with a couple different organizations as well as doctors.
We have a studio in Scottsdale, Arizona. We have a studio in Pittsburgh, and I just opened up one in Dallas about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And we're getting ready to open up another one in Washington, in the DC area this fall. So when I think about where we started from one show to mass producing, a dozen plus shows now, and not just having one studio, but having several studios around the country, and that's going to continue to grow.
It's more than what I've thought of in 2 years. So I'm thinking 10 years down the road, how big is it going to be? I mean, we've moved into an online magazine as well as different studios across the United States and more shows. So I think we're going to be definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Just to hear some of their stories, and it really puts a perspective. You see the news and you hear about this and that, but until you really know someone that has been there or is still there and still doing it, it really does change the respect that you have for them.
We get thank yous a lot of times. It's generally through email. Hey, I've listened to your show, and I was doing this, or hey, I got help, or maybe we refer, we give out information where people can get help with their PTSD, and we might get a call from somebody and say, hey, we have one of your listeners come in.
The reactions from the community about PTSD regarding VetsOn has been pretty warm. And when I say warm, it's like inviting, hey, I really love what you guys are doing. Thank you for connecting veterans.
It really makes you appreciate every little moment that they deal with, and the opportunities that we have because of what our current military and those that have
And the
served.
past military.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I'm able to give an edification and inform a listener that reaches out to us via email and says, I love what you guys are doing, thank you so much. You're really making a difference in the community, and it's not even here local. And I have no idea how these people find out, but they're listening.
We want to be the ones that kind of congregate and get everybody together, and it's time for us to make a stand. And that's kind of what we're starting to do, is we're going to make sure that it's time to get these people help, especially the help that they deserve.
I feel like that mythical bird, the phoenix. The James that went to Iraq in 2003 died. A new one was born. That James that went to Afghanistan in 2007, that guy died, and the new one was born. And the one that's here now that's the one that's here to stay.